Let me just refresh the stream.
Yeah, also refreshing on my end. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a second. Just refresh the stream.
Oh, there we are.
Yep. Cool. So what's up, everybody? We are here with Cleanup, Brandon, the Magnificent, and Ben Ada from Bad Fox Motorcycle Club. How you guys doing?
Yeah, feeling great. Feeling great. Excited to be here. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm glad that we could find a time. I know the time zones are crazy. We initially were going to do 4th of July, and then you were like, that's super late for me. That's like 3 in the morning or something. And I was like, oh, wow, I can't do that. So, I thought about it and I was like, it's 4th of July anyways. Like, I should just take the day off and hang out with my family, practice what I preach. So,
Yeah, why not? Why not? We all need a day off with our family sometimes. I'm actually going to have one this Friday. My dad is coming back from Africa, so I'll be able to invite them to my new apartment, have them, have their first visit.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's up, Brandon?
just hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill for me. So
Nice.
yeah, we try to avoid fireworks as much as possible this year, just because it's really dry, and so we were worried like, okay, could there be a fire and stuff like that? So we decided best to relax in the fireworks this year. But other than that, it was a good time. Hung out by a pool and then uh, watched Space Buds and stuff like that, and that's about it.
Yeah. You watched Space Buds, you said. You were just watching the floor?
Yeah, just watching the floor and stuff. So
yeah, they've been dipping, and then they found support. It looks like they're, yeah.
yeah,
It's really crazy that they dip so hard so quick. I mean, the whole FUD behind them was that there's now art that looks very similar. That looks like they didn't change it up too much. That seems to be what a lot of people are saying. And we could go forever into that topic because it's a brand new topic, and I don't personally know how I feel about it yet. So we'll move on to Bad Fox for now, though. So tell me a little bit about your project. I know I met you first in OG Bears, and you made their lookup tool where you could look up like a bear and what their trait was, the floor price, all that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that was way before we even started a project. I came to OG Bears, I think in December, just at the first. Actually, you introduced me to OG Bears. I won a whitelist giveaway through you.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I came to learn get bond with the community. I got to learn the team and what they're building and their development skills. And I really got attached. It was one of my favorite projects almost instantly. So yeah, they had the first mint, which they didn't sell out. Many of the community members were devastated by it, but we kept on pushing. We kept on building, we kept on growing. Everyone did their own part in trying to raid and all that stuff. So it was really a community effort of trying to push towards the second phase of mint. And as you know, they sold out. So that was very, very great news. And of course, me being a full stack developer, I decided to develop a tool which would benefit me and the community. And that's actually that tool you just mentioned. And with the tool, you're actually able to see the different floor prices for the different bear types at every day and at the live status. You're able to search the marketplaces, see rarities. You're even able to build your own portfolio. So you can say you purchased a certain bear for a certain price, and then the portfolio would be tracked completely private and locally, so nothing goes to the cloud. And you would be able to see how much you gain or lose per each bear or per the entire portfolio. It's very interesting. It was lots of work, but I loved doing it, and I love seeing that the community also use it. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude, no, I really appreciate it. I know the Bears definitely appreciate it. You've done some awesome things. And then, yeah, you said this was way before Bad Fox. So I want to know what made you want to start Bad Fox. And with Bad Fox Motorcycle Club, is that kind of a parody, like a little joke to the whole, you know, like Mad Dog Car Club and Boss Cat Rocket Club, is that kind of like a joke, or is it because I know some people have been asking me, you know.
Yeah, the reason we started the project, or the reason I approached towards starting a project, was because I've been involved in many communities, you know, as an investor, first of all. And there were many things, if it's regarding development, if it's regarding community, roadmap, whatever, there are many things, small things collectively from different projects, which I disliked. And I thought of, what if I would be able to create something that would probably better than the things that I disliked, and probably approach things in a different way. So, like say, the community building. So we did not have any invite competitions. Grind events were pretty minor and very strict. It was mostly about being genuine, being a person, having personality, having heart, and that's rewarded. And that's just from the community aspect of things. Then later on with the roadmap, right? You see if many projects creating their own game or their own metaverse. We, on the other hand, we are trying to find as many partnerships as possible to onboard into other metaverses instead of building our own thing. So we're going to be, I guess you can kind of call it a brand, and that brand would be able to experience the metaverse in any way possible. If it's with our floor in the MetaView Tower that we've been given by Cardistacks, if it's our first mini game that we're going to have now with the OG Bears, the motorcycle race. We're going to also create 3D avatars for the OG verse at a later point. We've partnered with Dot Labs, which that would allow us to have Vox avatars for Vox-style metaverses like Boss Planet. So we have many partnerships, and that's our main focus, not only to reward holders, right? I've skipped the first part, by the way. So Fox Collection, Motorcycle Collection, all these holders, they would be receiving 80% from royalties. We're barely going to receive any royalties ourselves. We are going to fund and develop upon minting funds. All royalties are simply giving back. And that is for the first collection. The second collection, then we come to a later point, probably Q1, Q2 next year, we're going to have a burn event. And you will be able to burn 3 NFTs, being one male, one female, one motorcycle, and receive a Fox membership card in return. But that card would allow you to receive free lifetime airdrops, anything metaverse related. Our first one being the Vox Fox. So that's something we're really looking forward to. And we just want to keep on growing on that matter. Reaching as many metaverses as possible. Because I believe on a personal level that, sure, now many people may look at it as, okay, what really is a metaverse? Or will a metaverse really be widely adopted and all that stuff? But I have a bigger vision, which is built for years ahead and not necessarily what's happening here and now. And the bear market is exactly the time to build. So I would say we're even launching at probably the perfect time to build towards the metaverse.
Yeah, that's Brandon. Is your setup okay? I want to let you ask some questions, but your mic looked a little spotty.
My mic?
Well, not your mic necessarily. Your camera. It's kind of like glitching around.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm holding it, so that's why probably. I'm old and I'm shaky, so.
No, you sound fine. Your camera was just kind of like in and out. You know what I mean? Like the connection wise. But no, your audio is good.
So with the bird, are you?
Okay, I jinxed it completely. I'm sorry.
Yeah, didn't quite get that.
Yeah, try one more time.
So is there anything about the burn mechanic that you are nervous about at all, or anything like that, or are you worried about how the holders will react to that?
I don't really know what you mean by worried. In fact, it's a matter of choice. You would have 6,000 total foxes, half male, half female, and you would have 3,000 motorcycles. So if you take each gender and a motorcycle, that's 3,000 each. Even if 100% from the first and second collection were burned, That's only 3,000 Fox cards, member cards, the third generation NFT. And our collections, metaverse related, coming up in the future, they would be at a larger scale than just 3,000. So for the Vox Fox, for example, we're going to create 5,000 avatars, which means we would, even if I highly doubt 100% burn rate, right? It's a matter of choice. But even if there was 100% burn rate, we would still have 2,000 avatars, which we can sell and make revenue upon, and use that revenue to reinvest into the next collection. And that's the way we are going to be dropping each collection after the burn event. We're going to re-inherit our initial investment and use that to invest into the next collection, re-inherit that, and then use that to reinvest in the next collection until we keep everyone satisfied.
Yeah, I personally actually like that method. I think a lot of people start off not necessarily the wrong way, but in a way that doesn't make much sense, where you have this card that's an access pass to your project, and a lot of the times it mints for 30 to 40 ADA, like nothing. And then they're worth hundreds or sometimes thousands. And then the collection comes out where it's like 100 ADA to mint this thing, way less benefits, way more supply. And then the floors dump and the cards go down. But if you start off the project with these these larger number of assets, and then you make it deflationary, and then the three combination actually gives you something that's now more valuable, that makes sense to me. And I actually really like that model.
Thank you. It's something I try to also approach differently, because as you say, usually the collections would come with a member card at first, and that would allow you to mint, pay for mints or for the future collections. We're doing it differently, where we have our first initial two collections, give the choice to burn. If you don't choose to burn, you would still be receiving royalty for the first and second collections you hold. And if you do choose to burn, then you even got a third, the membership card, which would allow you lifetime airdrops. So it's just a matter of choice. And even looking at supply, again, I highly doubt 100% burn rate, but even if that was the case, we are prepared for it. And so that's, yeah. I don't know if that answered your question, Brandon.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
So, can you explain to some people what full stack development is and how it helped you with your own project?
Sure. Full stack development. Well, it basically comes down to web development, to think of it in easier terms. Well, full stack is combined of front end and back end development. Now, front end is what the user eventually sees. If it's the web app, website, maybe mobile application, it's the user interface. That's front end. When it comes to back end, that's where you have the server side of things. That's where you have to manage authentication, encryptions, communicate with databases. Using the same sort of logic, you can create bots and all this stuff. So combining the front and back, that's when you're a full stack developer. Full stack development for me, well, for Bad Fox, I wouldn't really see how much of a benefit it is, because it's not something that allows me to work with smart contracts unless I specifically study that field of work. But it allows me to create the website, the backend, all the wallet registration, the entire system. I'm going to create tools similar like I created for OG Bears, but for Bad Fox, which is going to be built into the site. These are things which allow me to benefit my dev skills. Regarding blockchain development, that's where I actually have contacts within the space, which helped me anything smart contract related or anything Bluetooth related, right? So for example, royalty distribution, instead of having to manually sign thousands of transactions every time we hit 1 million ADA in volume, instead of that, we're going to actually have a dApp, which I can connect to, and via that dApp, I will be able to sign once and distribute the royalties to thousands at once. And this is not something that I developed. It's something that a friend developed. Actually, I hope I can shout his name, but his name is Miguel from NFT Seeker. I don't know if you've heard of the platform yet, but yeah. So there are many things in the space which rely on networking, on connections, and I think I have the proper connections to bring Bad Fox to an entire new level. And yeah, I'm expecting what's this? NFT
Yeah.
Seeker.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted to show everybody exactly who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mad Miguel is also the person in my Discord who helped create my bot. Well, didn't help create it, he created it.
Mhm.
He created my bot that determines whitelists for the holders of the Atlantic Ocean. So shout outs
Mhm.
to Mad Miguel. He is an amazing developer, and that's so cool that you guys know each other and you work together. That's so awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, me too, me too. There have been a bit issues with the verification bot the past couple of days. I mean, not technical issues. It's more of a user experience. People need to register an account with an email in order to verify holdership, and well, they're not entirely happy about that. So yeah, again, speaking with Miguel, we've come with an alternative solution, which hopefully would be implemented by the end of the week. So instead of having to register with an email, you can simply just link your Discord account, and that will be your method of authenticating on a platform.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Any
Yeah.
any particular reason why you guys chose foxes?
Yeah, this is a story I actually like to tell. So David, Chris, and I, right, we're a team of three. David and Chris are the artists. When we met or gathered, I think back in January, February, we started discussing the project, what we will do with it. The initial idea was it was before the time of Mad Dogs. It was just Boss Cats was a thing. And Smooth Yeti launched. I think they just reached a price of 3 to 408 at the time. So I noticed a trend, in the adjective animal vehicle club, right? So that's when we thought of, hey, let's try to follow the trend. We didn't really know what we want to do. We didn't even know if we really want an animal or something that's a bit more creative than that. But the initial idea was to simply create female versions of Boss Cat Rocket Club. And that would have been named Miss Cat Rocket Club. So that's an entire copycat of its own, pun intended. But as we started working on the art, we saw the first prototypes. We started diving a bit deeper into the idea, the concept, planning the project itself. It just didn't feel right. So we decided to scrap the entire thing. Funny enough, quickly after that, Mad Dog launched a Discord and Twitter and started gaining traction and hype. And we said, okay, so we have cats, we have dogs. What kind of looks like both and doesn't exist yet? That's a fox. I mean, there were probably only 2 previous fox collections on Cardano, and both were rug pulls. So being the first legitimate fox on Cardano was something very exciting. And that's how Bad Fox Motorcycle Club came to life.
Yeah, I love the foxes. I got one in the background right now.
Yeah, the Khaleesi fox.
Yeah, the badass. But so this is going to be is this going to be like a hold to earn, a play to earn, or a stake to earn type of model? Anything along those lines?
It's not going to be play to earn or stake to earn. It's going to be hold to earn. As a first and second collection holder, the Fox and motorcycles, you're receiving 80% of royalties. Now, at first, we envisioned a model where we would simply distribute on a monthly basis as passive income, but there may be some complications regarding fees and how much actually everyone would receive if it's on a monthly basis. So after speaking with some of our OGs, we've come to a decision where we would distribute them per every 1 million ADA in volume, because that would make it much more approachable. So for every 1 million in volume, we are going to distribute 80% in royalties. for season 1 and 2. And then for after the burn event early next year, you will be holding the card to be rewarded with metaverse assets. Initially, we're going to start off with avatars, so the Vox, afterwards 3D. And when we're done with avatars, we're going to dive a bit more deeper. I haven't really thought of anything too complicated as of now, but with Dot Dot Labs, we already have an option to create certain headquarters in Boss Planet. Cardistacks, the MetaView Tower, we're actually going to build something pretty interesting over there. I think in Q3, maybe Q4 this year, so even before our burn event. After speaking with Karen from their team, they think it's possible to accomplish our vision, which would be that in the floor itself, you would have a motorcycle track, you would have a bidding booth, and you would have separate rooms with slot machines, and you will have a certain bar in the floor. So as a Fox holder, you would be able to mint VIP passes for the floor. If you have a VIP pass, you would be able to play the motorcycle game in the floor. But if you don't have VIP, the public itself can access the rest of the floor. Within the rooms where I said you have slot machines, you don't have to, at least the idea is you won't have to pay anything. You will just, based on luck, be able to receive a token which has no value, but that no value token can be used in the betting booth to bet on motorcycle games, which the VIP pass holders will be playing. Now, as a race winner, you would receive a portion of these tokens. And as a bet winner, you would be receiving a portion of these tokens. Now, I mentioned that the token itself has no value. It's not a token that we are launching. It's going to be a token that Cardistacks is going to program. Now, I did hear that they are launching their own token. So maybe we will use that and it will have value. But if we go with a no value option of a token, then we will be able to use those tokens within our bar, which is going to be in the MetaView Tower floor. And we are envisioning an option where you would be able to purchase certain NFTs from the bar with those tokens. So that's one thing that's supposed to be happening by the end of this year, if everything is on track. We're highly dependent on Cardistacks' speed of development for this case, but this is also something exciting. I also mentioned the OG Bears mini game. It should be playable in the coming weeks. I haven't heard any recent updates from Baba Bear, but if you'd be interested, I could share my screen and show some proofs of what's going to happen probably over there. We have proof of our 3D avatar for the minigame, and we have a proof for working motorcycle physics within the game itself.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to see something. That's so cool. I was actually just gonna bring up on my screen, and I'll do it anyway, just so people get an idea. You know, these are what these bad foxes look like. They have a bunch of sneak peeks if you want to check out their Discord, and all their links are in the description below. So if you do want to go check them out, join the Discord, scroll through all of these. But yeah, so you mentioned that there will be a game that you play and people will be able to bet on the racing. Will it be a simulator kind of game, or will you control the motorcycle and how it moves?
In OG Bears or in Cardistacks? Because there are two different motorcycle games coming.
Okay. For yours, not attached to OG Bears.
So the one in a Cardistacks in the MetaView Tower.
Right. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I guess it's all a collaboration. So you have one game with Cardistacks and one game with OG Bears. So yeah, I guess well, I guess we can talk about each one of them, however you want to talk about it.
Okay. I just DM'd you the image and video, by the way, if you'd like to share that soon. But can we go back for a second? What was your question regarding our our motorcycle game.
Yeah, so for the Cardistacks one, let's say, can you actually control the motorcycle, how it steers, the acceleration, speeding up, slowing down, that sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah, of
Okay.
course. You'll be riding the motorbike just as you're driving in GTA.
Because I know
Yeah.
I did speak with Bad Fox or with Mad Dog,
Oh,
and they said that theirs would be more simulation, kind of top-down aerial view, where you just kind of watch the cars kind of go around the track. So I was just wondering, with other projects, if you would actually manually be able to control your vehicle.
no, we are the ones that will be controlling our own vehicles. That's correct.
Gotcha. And is that the same for OG Bears as well?
Yes, and for
Okay.
the open bears, it's actually interesting because that's a mini game where we're going to be fox versus bears. So we're going to actually combine the both communities and compete with each other. And I hear from Baba that there would even be some interesting prizes at the end. And
Okay.
we also contribute from our end afterwards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is like one of your 3D avatars you have right
Yeah.
here. See if I can pull it up bigger.
This is the 3D avatar created for the motorcycle mini game with OG Bears. And the clip afterwards actually provides proof of motorcycle physics within the game itself. So this is just an early concept from probably 2 months ago. A lot has changed since, but this is just a proof of concept showing that it can work. Skills are there.
There's nothing funnier than watching a giant bear like ride around on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Oh, you're rugging a little bit, Brandon.
Sorry.
Try to say it again. You're back.
I will say the female foxes do look great, though. I do
Oh,
like
yeah.
them a lot. Yeah.
They're my favorite ones. I actually wanted the idea of the collection was supposed to be female only, but we realized that the community has more males than females, and we didn't want to make it be a community that might be a bit, on the hormonic edge. Let's put it in those terms. So we decided to make them half females and half males to satisfy everyone. And we're very happy with the results. But the females are my favorites. I can't deny that.
Also,
Yeah, I actually thought it was like all females for the longest time.
I will say the art looks very clean, like very good as a profile pic for sure. I do like this one especially. Like the demon in me loves this one. But yeah,
The little
this
nipple ring.
is really great. I do like this a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they do look really great. So you said there might be a token for Bad Fox as well?
No, not a token for Bad Fox. Cardistacks
Okay.
is launching a token, and we might utilize that for our floor. If we're
Okay.
not going to utilize that, then we're going to utilize a token which will have no value. But we're not launching our own token, which is something that I also try to put as much emphasis on, how we actually differentiate for ourselves from the other projects. Because again, while everyone's trying to just focus on their own game, their own metaverse, their own token, their own DAO, we're doing something completely different, and we're utilizing other projects, games versus tokens, not DAOs though.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really interesting to me because I know I've spoken with a few people, and it's always the legality conversation when coins pop up. Like, you can do this, you'll be classified as this if you do that. So it's interesting that they'll have a token, and I'm sure once you like do the legal route, you don't need to worry about everything else because you went that route. But for the people who are like, yeah, we're trying to like just offer this, I wonder if because other people could take your token and then essentially offer something else, that is now maybe a legal issue. So that's like interesting for me to hear about. I don't think I've ever thought about another project taking another project's token and then using it in that kind of way, which I love, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah. Was there a question there? I'm sorry.
kind of open-ended, just conversation. Just, you know what I mean? If I mean, you're with Cardistacks and with OG Bear, so I'm sure like they all know what you're trying to offer, so they would go that route. But you know, in the future, just other projects, you know, they may want to think about the way certain things work with the legal routes if they're going to be offering it, or if another project is going to take it and offer something else. I think that's something I personally never thought about. So that's
Yeah.
really cool that you're doing that. That's like, I don't know, you're doing like the backwards, which I actually think is the right way of doing like a pass to your project with the deflationary aspect and combining assets. I think that's the way it probably should have always been. And then I feel like in like the regular world, this is like the Matrix, you know, in the regular world, we would have gotten the passes coming after this, you know, method works, but instead it's kind of backwards. But yeah, I feel like you're doing it the right way.
This is actually something I do want to talk a bit about, the whole deflationary aspect of things. So the reason I chose this approach is because when you have a project which has, let's say, all kinds of evolutions or mutations, or I don't know, they have serums or whatever, they would always keep the OG NFT even when you mutate it. So then you duplicate the amount. Now, sure, they are on different policy IDs, but in my opinion, that actually devalues the collection or the asset itself. So, in my honest opinion, if someone mutates or evolves or whatever, they should burn the original NFT. And then you should either have the OG by not mutating it, or you should have just the mutated one, which replaced your OG. And that's the way I see it. So I try to really implement that sort of method into our collection without actually requiring to do a mutation. Oh, by the way, when we burn, we don't want to lose the artwork. So we're actually planning to use the initial artwork from both collections within that third gen token, third gen NFT. We haven't decided yet whether it's going to be programmatically embedded into the card itself, or if we're going to include the original asset within the card's metadata, and then you would have like separate images. But we're going to keep the original art even though you burn them. So that's something to bear in mind.
What do you think about that, Brandon?
No, I think it's cool. I think it'll always be interesting when you do things like that to see is there going to be rarity involved with the Bad Fox Motorcycle Club?
So, well, the way I see it, we might utilize one or two very rare traits. It's not final yet, but as for rankings, no, there will not be any meaning to rankings. The way it has been in the beginning and the way it should be, in my opinion, is that ranks rarity is simply for collectors. It doesn't mean that you have to pay more for a higher rank to benefit from a utility. We are going to make sure that 100% of holders would receive the same benefits and the same utilities. And if you decide to buy a higher ranked NFT, that is your choice as a collector. Eventually, it is art we're talking about. It's ridiculous that at a certain point, certain projects made top 1Ks or top 777s or whatever utilized into a point where people already make it a default, or they think, oh, I have a top 1K, it should mean something. And that's not true. It wasn't always like that. It was a point in time within the past half year where that became a default. And I don't accept it. You know what I mean? 100% of holders receive equal benefits, equal utilities. If you pay more, just because you're a collector, we're not going to offer anything too specific. But there are going to be one or two specific traits just 1 or 2 trades that if you hold them, we might utilize them in a different way. But we will talk more about that probably after you mint. We have to make sure that the market is stable. We have to make sure that the community are happy with the results. We have to make sure that everything is going according to our current plans. And once that is all 100%, then we can add a little something or two into our roadmap.
So sweep the floor essentially is everybody. I think it's great that the fact that it's like I don't feel the pressure to necessarily have the top of the top in order to reap any sort of benefits, and so that's really good. That's really nice. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
you.
a lot of people they try to give out these incentives like, we'll refund one of your purchases within the next week if you buy from, within this range, or we'll be doing a 50 ADA giveaway, or whatever incentives they want to do for floor sweeping, which I think is fine. I do think it's fine, but this way it makes everything so even, like if you want to get into the project, period, just buy the floor. They're all the same as far as utility and what is offered. So I really do like that. And what was it? Zombie chains? Weren't they like one of the first to do that? They had like no roadmap, no rarity, no chart, and they were one of the first to do that. And it started like this, I want to say 2 week to 1 month period where everybody was like, yeah, no roadmaps, yeah, no rarities. And then after that month, it was like, nah, never mind. We're going back to everything we used to do.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear of that. I'm familiar with zombie chains. I mean, if I see the art, I know it, but I never really heard of them not having any roadmap or utility. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they do have a utility now and a roadmap and such, but when they launched, I don't believe that was there.
Yeah, it was nothing, and they said no rarity chart. So yeah. So I already know that I'm gonna mint. The unfortunate thing is I have to go because I have my coworkers or whatever. I do apologize at being short.
That's okay.
But thank you for like answering questions. I already knew I was gonna mint because Nick and I already spoke about it, and everybody's asking me, "Are you gonna mint Bad Fox?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course." So kudos to you. The art is very attractive. Not like that, you know what I mean, but it looks good. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you have a good day. Thanks for coming in. It's good to talk to you. And I think you're headed in the right direction. You're doing good things. So keep up the hard work, and holler at me at any time if you need the floor swept or anything, and I'll get you taken care of, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Brandon. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Good talking to you guys. Nick, I'll see you later on this week. We'll talk.
Sounds good, man. Have a great day. I appreciate you taking your lunch and spending it with us.
Yep, no problem. Anytime.
Yep, have a good one. Yeah, so Brandon, he's at work, but I guess his manager's there, or not there, so he has to take over that extra role. Normally he'll have like an hour for lunch, but he only had a half an hour today. But anyways, appreciate him for coming by.
Definitely. It's in Hebrew you call it I forgot it in Hebrew too. I forgot it in English and I forgot it in Hebrew. It's when something is when you consider something to not be expected and then you appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. So it's like if somebody, maybe I'm explaining it wrong, but if somebody always does nice things, maybe you expect it all the time, right? But if somebody just kind of does it spontaneously or something, you're just like, oh wow, like that was a really nice thing, instead of being like, oh yeah, he does that every day. You appreciate it.
Yeah, I think the Hebrew term is lo muvan me'elav. Let me just translate that. Just a second.
No worries.
Oh, so it means basically it's not obvious. Like, it's not obvious that he came here today, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean by obvious, but it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, no, but I appreciate you, man. So when are you minting, and do you have a price yet?
Yes, we're minting July 15th, which is next week, Friday. OG and whitelist will both mint simultaneously, starting at 7 a.m. UTC. And they would have a 12-hour window where OG can mint for 42 per NFT, a max of 3. Whitelist can mint for 52 an NFT, a max of 2. And at 7 p.m. UTC is when we start the public sale for 62 ADA per NFT. Now, if every OG and whitelist will mint their max, we're looking at an approximate supply of 5 to 700 for public. So we might have to consider how we actually launch the public sale in case there's high demand to prevent the need for many refunds. I remember Mad Dog did something where they had about 200 left for public, and then they raffled them with a bot to their community, and that's how they were chosen who would mint the public. I don't think we would have to do something similar, but if demand is too high and everyone mints their 100%, then we might have to do something similar for public sale.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know everybody's pretty cool with raffles. Anything to not make you click on seaplanes for about 4 hours and pray for the best. Anything to not do that, and I think everybody's cool with it.
No, we're actually going to mint through our website. I've designed the whole system myself, the entire backend. Actually, when you register your wallet on site right now, you just come on the site, you log in with Discord, paste your address, submit it, and for you as a user, that's already done. But on the back end, I actually I query the blockchain, collect the stake keys, verify the user's roles on Discord when he connects and all that stuff. So that entire backend process of communicating with Discord, with the blockchain itself, and with our database, all those are going to also take effect on mint day itself. Meaning that when you want to mint, you would actually have to, for OG and whitelist, you would have to log in with Discord. Again, that will verify that you're in the server, that you have the appropriate roles, that you have submitted a wallet, and only then you would be able to see an address and mint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just registered mine. So it takes into account if I have OG status or whitelist status, and then
Yes.
all I would have to do is go back and go to mint once that button is working, right?
Yeah, and that button would automatically turn green when the countdown at the bottom would hit 0.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's look at your website a little bit. It looks pretty cool. You have this fox bouncing, doing some animation.
Yeah.
How hard is it to actually make something like this? Like make it like bounce and stretch a little bit?
It's very easy. You just use a bit of CSS, which is some front-end styling. Yeah, you create some animation keyframes, apply it once, have it loop, and that's it. It's very easy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anything to like move just a little bit. I think subtle movements on websites are very good for keeping engagement.
True.
Yeah, I know everybody talks about engagement with like community managers and doing like giveaways and stuff, but like eye engagement, like interactive engagement with your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you also are partnered with Labs. Can you speak a little bit about that and maybe some of the plans that you have?
Yes, so I've mentioned a bit about it earlier today, but I'll talk about it more now. So Labs, they actually have 3 of their own, well, I would say businesses. You have Creatures, which is their own NFTs, which you can purchase, invest in, JPEG store, all that stuff. But you have also Builders, which is for the Boss Planet land assets, which can be built. And they're soon going to have forgot the third one, but they're going to have a third business coming up. So we partnered with Labs, and with Labs, we would be able to provide 5,000 Vox Fox avatars Of course, if you participate in our burn event and you have a Fox card, like the membership card, then you would be able to get an avatar for free. And if you don't, then by holding a certain amount of assets, you would be able to be whitelisted for the sale of the avatar itself. So we're going to have 5,000 avatars. We already have the business model laid out. We already have the investment funds. They're going to be set aside as soon as we mint our first collection. And we even have an option to build a headquarters within Boss Planet. Now, I've seen a document from Dot Builders of something that they've built, some examples, some models, and they have some really cool ideas. It's not just a building or a house or a four-walled apartment, whatever. They actually build some nice things. They actually create trees, and within the trees you have like bridges, and you can like climb these trees and live within these trees. They have some nice models, some of the nicest ones I've seen so far. So I'm really considering having our headquarters in Boss Planet as well. But our confirmed plans with Dotted Labs are the 5,000 Vox Fox avatars.
Gotcha. And those will be a part of their metaverse. They'll be able to walk around, do stuff, interact, that sort of thing.
Correct.
Gotcha. Oh, that's awesome, man. So we'll go back. Now we'll just go through the roadmap a little bit. So,
okay.
All right. So you finalized the collection. Now are we in Q3? Is this technically Q3?
Yes. July is the last month of Q3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. No, you have January, February, March is and April is first quarter. May, June, July, and the month. Okay, so yeah, next month is the last.
Before we're in Q4.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Sorry, is the first month of Q3.
Gotcha. Yeah, the quarters always throw me off a little bit. But so you're doing ADA payouts to Fox holders. How will these be distributed?
Yeah, so those are the royalties I mentioned.
Okay.
It was planned to be on a monthly basis. So every time we would receive the royalties from JPEG Store, the plan was to distribute them immediately, 80% to 100% of holders. But as I mentioned, there may be some complications regarding the volume and the amount of fees. So after speaking with OGs, we've come to a decision to distribute per every million in volume. So if we have in 1 month, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 million in volume, then everyone would receive royalty that month for the 2/3 million in volume, 80% of royalties, of course. But if there was a month that we did not reach the million in volume, let's say we reached, I don't know, 400,000, and then a month thereafter we had another 600,000, which completed that volume, then after those 2 months, that's when you have the 1 million volume, that's when we would distribute. So it's all highly dependent on volume, and for every 1 million, we would be distributing 80% of our revenue.
Gotcha. And is there... And I know you were saying too, there's probably only like 200 to 300, that are going to be allocated for the public mint. If everybody, mints like the max amount. So
yeah, 500-ish to be.
Okay. Is there any concern, because I know it is a bear market, that maybe a lot of these people don't mint? Because I know you've been building for a while, so a lot of your OGs, a lot of your whitelist people have been in your Discord for a while, but maybe they've kind of changed their minds on minting either as many or minting entirely. Maybe they're just taking a small break. Is there any concern or any sort of plan B if you only sell, let's say, 3,000 or 4,000, somewhere along those lines?
Well, in order to execute our roadmap, we would have to eventually sell the entire supply. Even if we would not be able to sell out on the first day or two, we might have to pause again after a community discussion. And during that time, we would, of course, increase marketing, and we would have inherited some funds from the bit of mint to increase our marketing dramatically. Until this point, everything that had to do with marketing, giveaways, NFTs, whatever, it all came from our personal pockets. Okay, I have my portfolio, which I've been investing in for many, many months, for almost a year now, just in CNFTs. And over time, I've just been taking out of my portfolio and giving back. And we didn't really have the option to market too much, but the community has been built in a very organic and a very genuine way. We've even had a purge event just July 1st, where we actually announced that anyone that hasn't been active with over 30 days would be kicked. No matter if you're whitelist, if you're OG, you're going to be kicked. And if you want to come back, you're going to have to earn your roles again. And surprisingly, only 353 members were kicked, 1 OG and 40 whitelist, which means that in June alone, 6,100 people have been active at least once. So that gives me a very good and confident feeling that the community is as we've built it, especially by preventing all of the invite competitions and all these grind events. We've actually had multiple bot attacks where sometimes hundreds, even up to 1,000 bots attack us at once. All these have been cleared out. If I'm not mistaken, we're about 3,500 banned bots. That's half the size of our community. But all this has been in great efforts to create the most genuine community we can. And I believe, according to their feedback and everything, that everyone is, at least most, are on board. And the statistics prove it with the recent purge, with the Discord insights, wallet submissions, activity. All these statistics really prove that the community is here and they're genuine and they're interested. We've even had people request that we increase the amount of mints per OG or whitelist. But we do not allow that. First of all, because we already have a set number of roles and we cannot increase anymore. It's already too late for that. But also for a second reason, where I'm trying to prevent whale holding during mint to have a healthy approach to the aftermarket. Because if you have a project which allows people to mint 5 to 10 NFTs per wallet, eventually people would have the incentive to dump most of what they mint at the floor to receive their expenses back and hold the rest for free. That devalues the entire collection. What we're doing by preventing and allowing only 2 or 3 mints per wallet, we're trying to have a wide wallet distribution over the entire supply. So at the aftermarket, even at the first few days, we should expect a healthy market where people don't have the incentive to dump, but instead they might have the incentive to purchase a few more on secondary because they might feel that they don't have enough. And if you want to get whitelisted for the motorcycle, you need to hold 3 Fox. So if you're whitelist and you minted 2, you need to get 1 more. So there's this whole approach of trying to create a healthy aftermarket even during the bear market. And it's something that I've been working very hard on for quite a long time. And the results so far have been positive. And I'm really curious to see it in action in 10 more days or so.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of things that you're doing that really make me happy as far as a floor price and an investment is concerned. And
Yes.
the main being that you're keeping the utility the same regardless of rarity, and you're making that be just regular rarity. You know, the car drives you here to there, you know, but do you want a Ferrari or are you cool with your Nissan? You know what I mean? I love that approach to it. And the same time, I've made this, I've said it a few times too, projects that allow people to only mint 1 but give benefits for holding multiples, their floor almost always does very well early on. And that's because people have to buy the floors. So even if somebody wants to dump, first off, they don't have 10 to dump, they have one. And second
Yeah.
off, the people who hold still need to get one or more, off of the secondary to make it worth their while. So I think you're doing a lot of things right in this regard. A lot of the times there's activity heavily on these projects that mint as well, and they give incentives for holding multiples, but they'll buy, like rank 2000. Let's say it's a 10K collection. They mint or they buy rank 2000, rank 1000, rank 900, whatever, for a large amount. But the floors never get touched, and the floor just keeps dumping and dumping while all the rares keep going crazy. And there's all this volume, and people are like, "Oh wow, they did like 500K in volume first day. That's insane." It's like, yeah, well, but why is the floor price half of the mint? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I really like this. I think that your floor will be what people instantly start to buy. I don't think it'll be like these other projects where they're buying, tens of the 1K, tens of the 2K, whatever it may be, the top 5 percentile. They won't be doing that. They'll be buying the floor, and in theory, everybody should win with this method. And I really do like what you have here.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you, man. You're the one who built it. But yeah, I wanted to ask too, with your motorcycles, you're not going with a parts approach. You're going with the whole motorcycle, correct?
Correct. We have our first sneak peek, by the way, if you want to pull it up.
Yeah. Did you send that to my Discord or?
It's in Discord sneak peeks.
Oh, okay. Discord sneak peeks.
Yeah. So the whole approach of motorcycles, parts or no parts, right? We saw parts in Boss Cats. We saw parts with Mad Dogs. We saw parts with Smooth Yetis. We saw parts. Well, we're gonna see parts with Frog Factory. And this whole idea of having to collect multiple parts and assemble, sure, it can be fun for collectors. It can maybe help with volume, but I don't know. I'm not too fond of the method. If you buy an NFT, the NFT should be beautiful as is. You shouldn't have to spend more to make it beautiful. So yeah, we decided to not do parts and to have fully assembled motorcycles, which they would be utilized with royalties, and they would be key to the burn event. And if you don't have a motorcycle, you would not be able to receive that Fox card, and that means you would not be able to receive Metaverse airdrops. So every collection, connects to the next collection. So they all have to utilize themselves in one way or another. But yeah, we just prevented parts because, I don't know, from an artistic point of view, it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like getting a wheel, it's just like, I own a wheel. Cool.
Yeah.
Like that's not so cool. But you own like a chopper, like one of these, you're like, dang, it's got like spikes on it, it's got the engine. You can appreciate like all of it in its entirety. I feel you. So
if you actually look closely, so with the Vespa, for example, you can see the fox on it with the Medusa, and with the Harley Davidson. Oh yeah, you see that as well, the logo. Yeah, yes, you have the logo over there. You have the spikes, and with the Vespa on top, you have the Medusa fox as a skin. You see that? The Vespa.
The scooter or the
the scooter.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't.
So what my point of showing you these little details is that we are going to have multiple bike models, but none of the bikes are actually going to be the same. So whilst you have projects which just change the skin, I take, for example, assembled rockets from Bosscats. So you have one base, but you have changing skins. We're going to have multiple bases, and they would have changing traits. So the spikes on the Harley Davidson is a trait. The Medusa on the scooter is a trait. So you will be seeing changing traits, and then you will have also various forms of the same base model, if you know what I mean. So it's like having a male devil fox and a female Khaleesi fox. It's two different foxes with their own traits. So you're going to have different motorbikes with their own traits.
I like that. And you know, I know that you have the foxes have the same utility regardless of rarity, but with these choppers, I mean, a chopper's got to be faster than this scooter over here, you know? Like is that how it is? Will choppers race against choppers, or will they all go the same speed? How will that kind of work?
You talking game wise?
Yeah.
Oh, I think for the games, so the mini game with OG Bears and with the game we're going to have in the MetaView Tower floor, I think we're going to have just one model designed for the game itself. The motorbikes we're creating here, they are art.
Okay.
We don't have any promises yet of making them metaverse vehicles, but that is something that I, on a personal level, am very interested at. Deadly Sense, which minted recently,
Yeah.
are also very interested on the subject. So probably if we have the resources, I'm looking at after our VoxFox drop, right? So after the burn event, after the VoxFox, if we have the proper resources, then we might take these motorbikes and make them metaverse vehicles. But that cannot be promised yet because there's lots of time ahead of us.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. And then so it says and I know we've talked about this, so maybe I'm just not understanding fully, but the ADA payouts for the Fox holders are once you hit 1 million in royalties, but then it says ADA payouts for motorcycle holders. So will it have to be 1 million ADA hit for Fox holders and then also a million hit for motorcycle holders, or is that like a combined, like let's say 600K for Foxes, 400K for motorcycle holders, and then all of that gets distributed? How does that work?
Yeah, so they are two collections, meaning two policy IDs. So we're going to distribute the royalties per policy ID.
Okay.
If you hold a Fox, you'll be receiving royalties for Fox. If you hold a motorcycle, you'll be receiving royalties for motorcycle. Because if we mix them, then you would only need to hold one to earn someone else's ADA on the second policy ID. And we want to prevent that. So each policy, you hold it, you earn it, which is why you have different entitles on the roadmap. So payouts to motorcycles and payouts to Fox.
Gotcha. And going to probably wrap it up within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if anybody in the chat has any questions, feel free to ask. Also, if there's anything that you want to cover, let me know. But I did have one final question myself, and that is when you combine the three, so you combine your Fox, your motorcycle, and then what's the other combination?
What do you mean other combination?
Didn't you combine 3 things to create the card, or is it just the Fox and the motorcycle?
Yeah, it's 3 things, but it's 2 Foxes. It's one male, one female.
Right. Okay. Cool. Gotcha. So when you combine those, will that allow me to still race, even though because I gave up my motorcycle? So now can I still race with the card, or do I need to own another one?
You don't have to own anything to actually participate.
Okay.
Again, with card stacks, so we're going to have most of the floor open to the public, meaning you don't have to be a holder to access the floor or use it. But as a holder, you can mint a VIP pass, which would allow you to gain the benefit of playing the motorcycle game and potentially earning that token that card stacks will be providing. That's for that. Just to make it clear, holding a motorcycle does not grant you a benefit of playing any motorcycle games. Holding a motorcycle, just as holding a Fox, rewards you with royalties. And both are key to the burn event for that Fox card. And once you have the Fox card, that's when you get all the interesting metaverse assets for free.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have any airdrops planned already, or is that going to be probably starting to be planned or developed a bit later?
Yeah, the first one would be Vox by Dot Dot
Oh,
Labs.
right.
Yeah. Uh, Directly after Dot Dot Labs, we're going to be creating the 3D avatars, which would hopefully allow access to metaverses like Pavia, and hopefully, if the technicalities allow it, they should be compatible with the OG verse by OG Bears. We're gonna try to make a model which should be able to be used in multiple metaverses. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just drop multiple collections. That shouldn't be an issue as long as you keep reinvesting the revenue.
Gotcha. Do you
Yeah.
have, and I know this is really hard to say, so I'm sure you don't, but do you have a rough estimate in your head about how long either Cartastacks or OG Bears or, any of these metaverses you plan on integrating? Do you know how long it'll be,
Mhm.
before some of these assets start to come to life in these metaverses?
Yes. So with Cardastacks, our floor should be in development within Q3 or Q4 this year.
Okay.
So by the time we plan on minting the motorcycles, approximately, that's for Cardistacks. OG Bears, so there are two aspects to it. There's that mini game, and then there's entering the OG verse. With the mini game, that should be playable within the coming weeks. I actually think there's a working prototype. I have to catch up on that with Baba. And with entering the OG verse, well, that's a very rough estimate because they have a long roadmap and they have multiple phases before they actually are fully on chain. So that's why we are planning to work with Dot Dot Labs before we plan on working with the 3D avatars for the OG Versa, etc.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know it may sound funny too, like coming from me, like, do you know how long for OG Bears? Like, I'm with their team, but like, we don't actually, necessarily talk about all the specifics in the team, like, because I'm an investor, so I don't know if a lot of people know that, but as an investor, it's a tricky thing between, like insider info and trading. And I do like Bears and I do want to buy them. So we just kind of respect that agreement to I handle the community, but like as far as developments and stuff, I don't get any prior knowledge until it's ready to be shown to everybody. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to let everybody know that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I have the same thing. I usually like to ask for permission before I show something or I say something. So usually the things I mention publicly, even about our partners, they're all pre-approved. So no
Yeah.
worries on those regards.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are still waiting for the homes to come out and everything. I know the Discord's like, "Well, come one announcement. It was supposed to come out last month," and it was
Yeah.
supposed to come out last month. So, yeah, Baba even made a bet with a community member, and the community member was like, "I bet you 100 ADA it's not going to come out this month," and so now he has to pay up.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool though. I know it's frustrating for some holders, but like he's in there, he's making jokes, he's making bets with the community. Like it'll come out. But yeah, their timing has been not perfect. It is what it is.
And
Developments take
it's
time.
true. It's true. But as you say, development takes time, and that's what people kind of forget. When I look at NFTs, there's art, there's DAO, and then there's play to earn and metaverses. Now, when speaking of art, uh, everything is a bit more rushed, right? The roadmap is rushed, the collections are rushed, the sales are rushed. The entire thing is all about a lot about hype. Uh, so people usually are used to that impatience, to that rush, and they bring it over to play to earn collections. But they should bear in mind that play to earn will not launch tomorrow. It will not launch in 6 months. It can even take a year, two. If it has to be five, then it's 5 years it will be. But development regarding games takes time, especially games at a scale that OG Bears are building. It takes time, and that requires patience. The only thing we can do as investors is know in full confidence that the team is skilled, that they can develop, that they have been rewarding holders so far, and that we should just keep on holding patiently, because eventually, when time comes and things do start launching, then the floor would move. Then the market would gain traction. Right now, it's certain people that know and believe in the project that are invested. But once things release, then you have the entire public join as well. And that's something to really bear in mind, because it's different when you invest in play to earn than when you invest in art. And I've learned that the hard way. When I dived into NFTs, I really had no idea why would someone want to buy what is considered just a JPEG. So I went for utility-based NFTs. I went for land. I went for characters in play-to-earn games, stuff like that. And then after a few months of holding, and I haven't been seeing any gains, I was like, shit, I realized that this is a slow market and I should have approached it differently. But yeah, everyone makes certain mistakes over time and you learn from them. And I just keep telling myself, if I buy a play to earn, I just wait patiently. As long as the team shows me that they have the skills to develop, I'm confident, I'm sitting back.
Yeah, and I agree with that message too. And I really think it's a psychology thing. I think, if OG Bears, I'm just using this as an example because it's relevant now. If their floor price was 500 or whatever it may be, I don't think anybody would be complaining that the game's taking a little bit longer to come out. They'd all be happy. But because their investments either where they bought it or roughly maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, but it's just not like fantastic. Everybody wants to like push, like push the developers to do this, like keep going. And then maybe once they see, because I know a lot of people, once they see a certain number, they're like, all right, I'm cool. And they go back to relaxing and chilling. But in the meantime, they're looking at their money either going down or staying stagnant. And they're just like, why won't you move? But, these things, they do take some time. And I mean, OG Bears isn't going to rug anybody. I mean, so as long as they're not going to rug, it's just like, just play patient. They'll come out with their game when they come out with it. But you have your team members here. So do you want to talk a little bit about your team as well?
Sure, let's do that. So you have me. Of course, I'm the lead developer. I focus on marketing and I manage the collabs. As for collabs, I'm very open to any offer, no matter how big or small you are as a project. You come, you ask, I'll just review, investigate. If I find red flags, I'll ask questions. If you don't have red flags, your request will be approved. Simple as that. We collab with anyone that really desires it, as long as they pass the review. So I manage that. Of course, you can see I've a history with full stack development. I'm currently working at a company called Open Finance, where we develop. I don't know if you heard of open banking, but it's basically banks. They collect data over their clients, and the data is kept by the banks, and then they sell it to for their own market, stuff like that. So laws in the States, in Europe, and now coming to Israel say that the banks, by law, should release the data to a third party as long as the client agrees to it. So we, as Open Finance, we are the third party. We collect the data. We utilize that data to provide financial services which are outside the bank. And yeah, previously I've also worked at a different company called AbiliSense, where I worked with AI technology to classify all kinds of sounds. So we developed sensors which they are always listening, and the AI knows how to recognize if a certain sound may be of danger, and then it would alert our platform, or you'd have maybe a person of authority sitting behind the platform, or it would be sent to an application of the person living in the house if they're deaf and they could not hear the sound of danger. So I've been working with different sorts of technologies throughout my career as a full stack developer. And yeah, today I'm just more into blockchain and NFTs. I do actually plan on focusing on Bluetooth studies in the coming year or two. But first, I want to focus on Bad Fox properly before I inherit more knowledge. That's for me. And David is our lead artist. I've actually got to know David through Christian, which is the second artist. Chris and I, we've been friends for many years. I think maybe 5, 6, 7 years. I can't count anymore, but many years. And Chris and David, they knew each other from childhood. So Chris and I, we were the one talking about maybe creating a project and stuff like that. We were the ones to really initialize the idea. And Chris introduced me to David. We've spoke, we've bonded, we've shared ideas, and we formed a team. And we work well together. We trust each other. We know exactly what everyone has to do in the team. So yeah, we're very happy. And recently, Franco joined our team as a community manager. He actually was from the community. He is from the community. That's something I really like to do. Our moderators, they all come from the community. Usually we'd have moderators which are resourced from outside. Maybe they are professional, they mod in few servers, stuff like that. Someone comes in with an offer, stuff like that. We don't do that. Our team, even the moderating team, they all come from the community. That makes a better bond and connection. So Franco Leap, he's been one of our first mods to join from the community. And yeah, I was very happy with him. The community is happy with him. He's very friendly, very loving, keeps everyone active, plays games. He's even running an event right now where he's going to reward 58 out from his own pocket, which is something that you don't see at many places. So yeah, I love Leap, our Franco, and he joined us recently, and I'm happy to have him as well.
Oh, there he is in the chat. What's up, Franco?
There we go.
I don't know why it doesn't show, but he's definitely dabbing on him right now, you know?
Yeah.
That's the elbow cough. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on. That is awesome. Your team sounds amazing. Your mod, oh my God, like, yeah, I know how rough it is too. It says he's a college student, and I know 58 right now. I know a lot of guys like, oh, it's only $20, but still, like, you don't have to give that out. And who knows how many times he does it and how much like people give away. But no, I just it's commendable. It's awesome to see people doing stuff like that. And we all know in the future, Cardano, I don't know where you guys see it or where your sell rate is, but for me, I mean, this is stupid, but exactly. Like I was talking to my friend the other day. I was like, 5 to 7 years from now, I'm really thinking like $30 is possible. And he just like, yeah, okay, man. And I'm just like, look, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm just saying I believe in it that strongly. But yeah, if there's any note you wanna end on, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up.
Any note I want to end on?
Shout out to your mother, whoever.
Oh yeah, hi mom. Not that she's watching or anything. Yeah, no, it was really fun to join. Yeah, I've actually came with a bit more confidence today. I think I had only one YouTube interview so far with Awesome Miss JL, but
yeah.
I've been on an AMA with the lounge, a couple spaces, and with each of those, I was very, very nervous. But I came here with confidence today, and yeah,
Awesome.
I had very much fun, and I really appreciate you having me. It's been incredible. I always like to explain about our project verbally because it's different than typing. When you type
yeah.
text, people don't fully understand the idea, the concept, but having it spoken, and people can really understand things differently. Speaking of understanding things, particular in the past few days, past couple weeks, and the sentiment within the market in general has been very negative. There's been lots of FUD going on against many projects, even good ones,
Yeah.
including SpaceBuds. I just want to mention because this is something that really sits on me personally. In my point of view, if you hear something, good or bad, you should always back it with facts before you echo someone else's voice. Because if you are assistant to spreading FUD, in my opinion, it's equally bad as making a scam. Because while scammer ruins one person, FUD can kill an entire community of thousands of people, and thousands would get wrecked. So just because these days and these couple of weeks, they're tense, they're negative, it's everywhere, it's everywhere. Just want a personal request. If you hear something, a voice echoed, back it with facts. And if it's about us, we are always online. Just come, ask. Don't make any false assumptions. Don't try to throw havoc and chaos because you would be hurting thousands of people. Just ask. We provide the knowledge. You can always make your own decisions, but ask. That's all I want to say, because these days are really intense for many people.
Yeah, I love that, man. I've fallen victim to that before as well. Well, not like I was the victim, but I heard some old Space Buds FUD a while back, which turned out to not be true. And I freaked out. I immediately like tweeted it because I thought people, you know, would like lose money if they didn't have all the knowledge. And it turned out I was wrong. And you know, no, luckily I was not very big at the time, and I kind of got laughed off and picked on a little bit, which was fully deserved. And so yeah, like I understand, even when it comes from a place of you think you're helping, a lot of the times if the information is wrong, you're actually doing the opposite. You're hurting. So yeah, I've definitely, you know, been on that end, and you know, I had to learn the hard way not to do stuff like that. So yeah, yeah. A lot of FUD is out there. The market's not doing great. It is what it is. The market could trend down for a year, for 2 years. It could turn around next month. We don't know. So, you know, dollar cost average, slowly buy in if you believe. If you don't believe and you're nervous and you're still buying in, I question you. You know, like get your conviction first and then buy. But yeah, it was great having you on, man. I really appreciate that. If anybody wants to check out Bad Fox Motorcycle Club, all of their links are in the description below. So, yep. So I appreciate you, man. We are here to make more money so that we can spend more time with our friends and family. So
Exactly.
yeah, remember to get outside, homies. Get outside. 4th of July was a great excuse to get outside. 5th of July, not the greatest excuse, but hey, it's the day after the 4th. Use it as an excuse. Get outside, walk your dog, you know, don't stare at the sun. Do some healthy things, all right? But yeah, peace out, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.